Alright, what's going on, guys? Crypto Mackie bringing you guys another crypto video. Today we're going to take a look at Zilliqa, obviously, because this coin has been going absolutely parabolic past few days. So thought I'd do an update video, talk about what's been going on. Obviously it's gone pretty close to all-time high levels at the moment. So I thought I'd come on and talk about what I think the coin's going to do moving forward, how it's been performing. Obviously there's a release of the metaverse in a couple of days, so we might see a bit more of a run moving forward, have a whole bunch of charts to look at and indicators. So thought I would, just do an update video. So I want to say this video is not financial advice, guys, so please do your own research. So looking at Zilliqa, we can see, as I said, absolutely parabolic. Recently, we can see in the past like 4 or 5 days, up 350%. Insane, really good gains, awesome to see. On the way, we had a bit of resistance at this line here. Didn't last long, when then we smashed through and went higher. So looking really good on the short term. One thing to consider is the potential for a pullback. Obviously, when you see big moves like this, pullbacks tend to happen. But ultimately, they can just fuel your next sort of run. As we saw here, we saw a bit of a correction, not a massive one, just 20% before starting the next run. So looking really bullish. We can see this chart right here for Zil. And we can take a price target for this and see how it's going after we broke out of this resistance. And so we smashed through that price target and went higher. So really good to see. Broke that resistance line down here, going higher. This is probably my more favorite chart. I think it's the falling wedge that's been playing out. It's just really important because it's been happening for how long? About 328 days. So ultimately, it's been 328 days since we've seen Zilliqa at 20 cents, firstly. And then secondly, Zilliqa's been in this falling wedge downtrend for over 300 days, which is a long time. But eventually, we saw the breakout. We've now trended higher. And if we have a look at the price target, we're basically at our price target as well. You can see right there, we are at it. We got there. So we're sitting right now, right at this price target, which is good to see. So one thing I'm also considering is potentially, I would expect there to be resistance at the all-time high price, which is about 24, 25 cents. And so I would expect it's a little bit higher than where we're currently at, about this level. So I would expect there to be resistance once we get up there, come down. And then, I mean, it depends what happens, because we've seen massive volume and a large amount of just people talking about Zilliqa and buying Zilliqa. So we could just smash through it, but there's always a chance that we come down, form a bit of like a cup and handle, and then come back and so you have this big cup and handle, and then we break through and we go higher. It's always something that happens. Another thing to consider is so with the release of their metaverse in a couple of days, there's the buy the rumor, sell the news. And so something to consider is that once the release happens, that we could see a bit of a correction for Zil, and people start to sell their Zilliqa. No like guarantees that happens. But when I look at Cardano, for instance, when it released smart contracts, I remember we saw a massive run, very parabolic run up until the release of smart contracts. And then once it got released, there was a correction. I'm still very bullish on Cardano, but that does tend to happen with a lot of projects when they release stuff, that they have massive hype, and then when it's released, there's a bit of a pullback. And so when you combine that with the fact that we haven't seen a massive correction, I think it's always important to consider that pullbacks can happen. I mean, from the bottom, we are up over 500% without any major corrections, right? And so it's always risky to think that a correction won't come, but it could just be a correction to fuel the next leg and to break through the all-time high price and then to go higher as well. So that's always something to consider. Now, this is a chart we spoke about. I had a look before. I was looking through my old YouTube videos. When we spoke about this chart, it was 22nd of November, which was about 4 months ago, just over 4 months ago. And we spoke about this chart, and we developed this pattern. And if you've watched my videos on Zilliqa, you probably know this pattern. But the pattern is we see a rise in price followed by this falling wedge, descending channel, another rise, falling wedge, descending channel, and then another rise. That's the gist of it. And we can see, I spoke about it for a while. Ever since around this point here, I spoke about it. And we went lower, and we went about as low as this blue line here, which was previous resistance at this level, and we held support, and we've started the next leg. So ultimately, we've started this next leg, which would potentially indicate that this next move is taking place right here. I'd say diminishing returns is obviously a factor, and so you have to scale this back on where we think it could realistically get to. This, but we don't know where it could get to, right? But I think anywhere in this range is definitely a potential. So anywhere from previous all-time high, which is 25, 26 cents, and then up to around 55, 56 cents. In this range is definitely a potential for Zilliqa to land in before forming that next sort of descending channel falling wedge moving forward. Also, this has only happened twice as well, and so there's not a definite pattern. And history doesn't just repeat itself on and on with ease, but this is the pattern that we've seen, and so far it's playing out. Like, we've seen this move, this direct steep move up, which we saw twice before. I don't think it's done. I think there's corrections along the way, and if we look at both these paths here, there was definitely corrections along the way, but the overall gist was an uptrend. And so ultimately, if the bull market cycle continues to move forward, we'll see this general uptrend continue to rise for Zilliqa. We also draw these two yellow lines, which are mostly just speculation on where I think Zilliqa could land upon this new high that we've seen twice before, and then this is gonna be the third one around. We said it would happen around May. This was back in November when we talked about this, and we put this other one in like December. But it could be later on. It could be later in 2023 if the market cycle extends as far as that period, and there's let's say we see a correction and then a bit more of a steady growth moving forward. And if there is a steady growth until 2023, then I think altcoins, Bitcoin, like, I think all coins can really hit really big highs as well if there's a more gradual incline in price. So this is one of our charts. I think it's very important, and this is a key breakout right here, obviously. I mean, we spoke about before, it's this massive resistance along the way, and we just rocketed through effectively. So hopefully we can get back to all-time high price, and then, yeah, continue this uptrend and see where Zilliqa can go. I'm really bullish on this coin. I think it's got a lot in store. As for Bitcoin, kind of maintaining steady around 47k. We're above the bull market support band, which is good. The price target for this orange sort of sideways moving channel is 52k, so I still have that number in mind, that figure for Zil, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. So things are looking good. And if Bitcoin, as I said so much, that Bitcoin goes and hits new all-time highs and goes for puts in new all-time highs and keeps increasing, then very likely we'll see altcoins follow that, and Zilliqa as well follow that and go higher, and it itself can hit new all-time highs and continue that move up, which is what we saw right here. Like, we look at this point here, this whole increase in price, which is 800%, was when Bitcoin was putting in new all-time highs. So when Bitcoin's doing that, we can see Zilliqa follows the same pattern and tends to outperform Bitcoin as well. The last pattern is Zilliqa against Ethereum, which you can see has been in a downtrend for quite a while, actually, against Ethereum ever since 2018. But we can see this top line, which we're getting close to. So I think we still have I had to look about 30% to get to this line. But something to watch is if we can break through this line and actually go above. So if Zilliqa really starts to outperform Ethereum, which it already has recently, obviously, it's outperforming most coins the last few days. If it continues and we see a big run, and we look at the previous runs Zilliqa had, for instance, starting at this point, it outperformed Ethereum when Bitcoin went to 64k the first time. And so Zilliqa it's already well outperformed Bitcoin before it's really, and Ethereum before Bitcoin's really gotten going for its third leg now of this market cycle. And if it does continue and go to all-time highs, then we could see just that slow increase for Zilliqa as well and go higher, and then, you know, break out of this pattern could be really important and significant for Zilliqa moving forward and show that it could outperform Ethereum. So it's pretty important for Zilliqa. But yeah, might leave the video there. As I said, the next few days are going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with Zilliqa. Obviously, with the launch of the metaverse, there's so much hype around Zil right now. There's a lot of people talking about it, getting a lot of traction. It's really good to see. And I mean, who knows? We could wake up tomorrow and it's 25, 30 cents. Like, the way things are going, literally, who knows? We're seeing 30, 40, 50% increases pretty easily. So we could go another big jump. Who knows? Let me know what you think of Zil, guys. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I appreciate all the support, guys. I really do. And I'll see you later. Enjoy.